Welcome to Meet the Hawkeye. I'm your host AJ Reisetter, and on this show I sit down with some of the greatest student athletes on campus. These athletes are great on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. On Meet the Hawkeye, we highlight it all to give you an exclusive look at what it's like being a student athlete at the University of Iowa. Buckle up for tons of laughs and untold stories of your favorite Hawkeyes. It's Meet the Hawkeye with AJ Reisetter on DI-TV. Hello everyone and welcome to our third installment of Meet the Hawkeye. I'm AJ Reisetter and today we have a very special guest from the field hockey team as they're getting ready for the NCAA tournament, a second team All-American and probably one of the smartest people out of England, Esme Gibson. Esme, you're laughing a little bit after I say you're one of the smartest people coming out of England. I mean, you won awards for math and biology when you were in high school. I mean, I feel like you've got to be pretty smart.
I have my moments. I think high school was a long time ago now,
Yeah,
five years ago.
bit.
Yeah, but yeah, I do try hard in the classroom. So
There you go. What are you studying at the University of Iowa?
So I'm currently a grad student in the College of Public Health. My track is community and behavioral health, and I did my undergrad here in neuroscience and graduated May of this year.
Nice. You're from, all right, I'm going to go for it. I know we laughed about it earlier. Worcester, England.
Close enough.
How close? You say it then.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, Worcestershire, England. So how did you decide on that path of studying here at Iowa? Was that something you decided obviously when you were in England and then you signed with Iowa? And then is that just something you had as a childhood, kind of a path you wanted to go down? Or what was the inspiration to kind of go down that path for college?
I mean, I decided pretty late that I wanted to come to the US, so I think the way university works at home is very different. So you you apply for a specific course when you go in the UK rather than coming here and you kind of get to decide after taking a few courses. So at home, I originally wanted to be kind of like a physio, like athletic trainer kind of thing. But then I came here and took a few like psych classes and bio classes, and that really kind of became more what I was interested in. And yeah, that's kind of decided the beginning of my junior year, I think, that's what I want to do my undergrad in. But it definitely wasn't kind of growing up dream. That was a bit more sport related than neuroscience. So.
You're a little more focused on the field hockey side of things and maybe the education side of things. That's fair. But you're from England, so the recruiting process is obviously very different overseas for coming to the United States to play in a Division I team. But field hockey is kind of different, I feel, because you have so many different people from around the world coming to play on the field hockey team. What was the recruitment process like for you, and how did you decide on the University of Iowa?
So our assistant coach is actually British.
Okay.
So that was a real big help to have that kind of link. And Iowa have always been pretty known for having internationals. So when I was a freshman, there were, I think, 3 other English girls on the team, and we had from Australia, from Belgium, from the Netherlands. So it's a very kind of universal team. So that for me was a real positive of the team, to be able to kind of go somewhere new but still have a support system that matched a European support system here. So that was kind of, I started recruitment, I think beginning-ish of my senior year of high school. I went on 3 visits, and then Michael, our assistant coach, came in, watched one of my games at home, and then when I came to visit Iowa, it was beyond cold. Like, I think that I ended up missing my connection in Chicago to Cedar Rapids, and I was on my own. My parents didn't come with me on my visit. I kind of got to land in Chicago and get a text from the assistant coach saying, you need to like run through the airport right now to get another flight. And I'm like,
oh geez.
So it was just like the worst start to a visit, but ended up being the most amazing visit and the best decision I think I've made. But even though I couldn't go outside for more than 10 minutes when I was here, but it really showed me how much people matter in decisions. Like, yeah, facilities and things are important, but it's the people that are going to make your experience the best that it can be. So that for me really just, it was a no-brainer when I came down to deciding.
Yeah, absolutely. And quite a first impression of Iowa coming in was it in the dead of winter? Was it like December, January?
Yeah, I think it was like end of November. Like, I think everyone was just coming back from Thanksgiving break, and like half the team had their flights cancelled. So half the team was like still on the East Coast, like at home from Thanksgiving, and I just kind of arrive and look out the window, and it's just they're defrosting our plane in Chicago. I'm like, what is this world?
What is this place that I'm about to step into?
Yeah, that was pretty much my reaction.
That is awesome. But was, like you said, you decided to come to Iowa and you kind of started the recruiting process when you were a senior in high school. Was the dream always to come to the U.S., or did you look at going to college in England or maybe even another part in Europe?
Yeah, I went on kind of, it works very differently. University sport over there, it's nowhere near the level of kind of support and everything that it is here. I looked at multiple places and just none of it really kind of clicked with me. So there were a few girls that I knew older who I'd played with at home that had come out here and gone to other schools and had really, really great experiences. So it was kind of, well, why not try that as well? So there was nothing kind of before that was pulling me to America, but then once the idea was in my head, it kind of wasn't leaving my head. So
yeah, once you heard about how Division I sports kind of run here, it was kind of like, ooh, I kind of really want to go over there, experience that a little bit.
It's a completely different world, and I don't even know how to describe the difference, but talking to friends back home, it's like they're just amazed by what we get here, and everyone is so grateful for it.
Just a night and day difference almost.
Completely, yeah.
That's really interesting to hear, actually. But you talked about how you knew some people that came to America to play different sports. Did you know anyone that came to Iowa specifically, or was it just kind of a wide array of different people playing sports at different colleges?
There's no one that I knew that had come. I knew of the people because I mean, England's a pretty small country, so you might not know people, but in the field hockey world, you know of people. Yeah. So I knew of like Katie Birch, Sophie Sunderland, and then Ellie Holly, who were already here. And I knew of people that had gone to like UConn, Harvard, Princeton places. So I didn't kind of want to go somewhere where people from my school already were, because my school is a big feeder to go into US universities.
Gotcha.
So I didn't want to go somewhere kind of with them, but I wanted to experience the same thing. Yeah. So that was kind of what made me choose Iowa, that it was people that I knew of, but not people who I'd spent significant time with before. Yeah.
So is your high school kind of known for having a lot of field hockey talent coming to America?
We won a few national championships.
Wow.
So yeah,
wow.
We are. It's kind of I moved there for my last 2 years. It's a boarding school, and it's a very small boarding school, but the hockey level, I think they've won maybe 15 back-to-back U18 championships. So it really is kind of a pathway of national championship to America, kind of. Wow. So, but again, I don't think without going to boarding school before coming here, I would have been as confident coming here as I was. So it's a really nice stepping stone to have.
Yeah, and obviously it's worked out for you. Despite the first impressions of the cold, it's worked out for you. Yep. Now you guys are getting ready for the NCAA tournament, but first, there's something on your left eye. I saw the replay clip, but how's your eye doing after taking that hit in the Big Ten tournament?
I mean, it's doing a lot better than it was.
Good.
The day after was rough. I did kind of wake up and think, oh, I don't know when my left eye is going to open next. And that plane ride home was tough. But for some reason, I think my body was like, okay, we have to have some business now to take care of. So, luckily it hasn't impacted too much, but definitely wasn't my favorite memory from field hockey.
No, I can't imagine. You got smacked in the face with a stick, and then you had to go to the sideline. Did they stitch it up on the sideline, just send you back out there, or what was the deal?
Well, luckily it was like pretty close to halftime, so I think it was about 4 minutes left on the clock. And Michigan field hockey have the best facilities maybe in the country, so like they have an amazing training room, everything on site. So being able to have that, like, it was just, I mean, that was amazing. But no, I ended up having both of them glued, like pretty much. They just wiped all my blood off, and then they were like, yep, we're gluing this. And then I think like halfway through halftime, I was in the locker room just kind of ice to my eye, trying to keep it open somehow. So no stitches, luckily. I've had stitches on this one, but that was 3 years ago now.
That was a few years ago now. So you've taken a few hits. You've been able to get back out there. And how has practice been with it? I mean, obviously you're able to open it now, but was practice right after that game kind of tough, or what was the recovery process like from just a week ago to now?
So we had the next day off, which was really nice. I think if we'd been playing that day, I think that would have been
Pretty
bit
rough.
of a struggle, that semi-final.
Yeah.
But the only issue I've had with it is like squinting and like seeing in the sun, but everything else has been good, and all our athletic trainers and medical staff are really great and kind of know that they won't put you back in unless you're safe and ready to go back in, which is just a really nice thing. Again, that we don't have in England, kind of thing of
Interesting.
athletic trainers present at everything. So
Really?
Yeah.
You kind of just get thrown out there?
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
like,
pretty much.
maybe there'll be
Just
one,
like
maybe most of the time there
have
isn't.
some Advil and an ice pack is pretty much like the English approach. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of rub some dirt on
Yeah.
it, take a little painkillers and get back out there.
Yeah.
So so when you took the hit, you're kind of used to it?
Yeah.
You weren't too worried about it. There you go.
Could have been a lot worse.
It definitely could have been,
Yeah.
based on the replay.
Yeah.
I was a little worried for you.
I was a bit worried for my eyeball. That was my like first thought. I was like, as long as my eyeball is still like in the socket, I'm fine. I'm coming back in. And I was,
That's
like,
nasty
still
to think
there,
about.
so.
That is so nasty to think about.
Yeah, I think something may have happened to the BTM Plus camera guy had they filmed
Yeah.
some eyeball on,
Ooh, yeah.
on the field. But
He might have passed out. I
Yeah.
probably would have passed out if I was there. One of our reporter that was there, David Consuelos, got it perfectly. Got the replay perfectly, and he showed me. I was just like, "Oh boy,
Oh,
that
God.
does not look like it's gonna come off anytime soon."
yeah, I think my face is going to be a few colors for a few days and weeks maybe. But
But it looks really cool. It strike fear into your opponent as you get ready for the NCAA's, right?
yeah, maybe.
There you go. As you're running down the field, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, she's got like 3 different colors on her left eye." No, it's a badass story. When you talk about offensive production, it's really hard to not bring up Dion.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I feel like she's been the headline story for you guys all season long. What's it been like playing with her and some of the other freshmen as well that have come over? And just overall, what has it been like playing on this type of high-scoring offense this year?
Yeah, I mean the whole freshman class, their like hockey IQ, their ability to read play is just it's been so high, and I think so much higher than we potentially expected for a freshman class. I mean, Dion is just an incredible goal scorer, and being able to work with her, it's really easy. Like, even though her first language is not English, her English is great, and there's not been any issues explaining things to her. Like, she is understanding things before some of the native English speakers on our team. Yeah. So I think that is just so impressive to come in to a country where you're speaking a second language in a completely new place, and that you're settling in that quickly as she did for that Big Ten ACC weekend. I'm so glad I've been able to play this year with her. I'm so glad I came back and got the opportunity to do that, because I think she and that whole class will be able to keep carrying this program forwards for the next 4 years. And I'm so excited to watch her and the rest of them play after I'm done. I will be on the sidelines next year cheering them on. So they've been possibly one of the best classes we've had in my time here. Wow. And it's been really nice and just so much easier. Even though there's eight of them, it's been so easy to deal with.
It's been incredible to watch.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about the whole language barrier thing, because obviously your team is so diverse. They come from all over the world, and we talked about it already, but what is it like getting past that language barrier for some of the athletes, and how are the coaches on that? Do you guys have someone who's in there kind of helping with the English and translation a little bit, or is it mostly, on them to figure it out?
Well, luckily we've pretty much always had either like a senior or a junior who's Dutch. So
Gotcha.
Sophie Strijbos right now, and fifth year senior, she's from Belgium / the Netherlands. So she speaks Dutch and lots of other languages. So she, I think, has always been super helpful, and obviously her sister before that. And it's kind of just been this continual, you learn your freshman year, your sophomore year, and then when there's a new group that comes in, you're there to help them because you know how difficult it is. So I mean, yeah, it's so nice to have, you kind of hear them sometimes talking and you're like, I wish I could speak another language, but it's really impressive for any of them who come in whose first language isn't English to come in and fit right in as quickly as they're expected to. So yeah, the seniors helping them is definitely a big part of it.
Have you picked up a little Dutch just being around them all that time?
Languages is my biggest weakness. So
really?
I did like 8 years of French in high school, and
that's pretty impressive.
But I could probably say like 2 sentences at most. So
I feel that.
No, I'm not contributing to the language side of the freshman production. So
oh, I definitely feel that. I took 12 years of Spanish, and I could maybe say a few things.
Yeah.
Like don't try to send me to Mexico or to Spain or anything to try and speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Not gonna work.
Not at all.
No, but it's been an incredible season. Obviously, you guys got the NCAA tournament coming up, but that's not the only reason why you're here at Iowa. You're studying, you're playing sports. What do you do outside of those two things to kind of keep yourself busy and be involved within the community? Are you part of any organizations or groups on campus that have you involved inside the community?
So our team is actually really great at community engagement stuff. We have done a lot with Habitat for Humanity, who does the building of houses for kind of families in need. So it's always nice to go and stand on some roofs in Iowa in the middle of the winter and try and not fall off.
A little cold up there.
So we try and do that as often as we can. Obviously in season it's difficult to find time, but that's something we really like to do as a team. We also love to be involved with kind of food banks, and obviously the Children's Hospital is a huge part of Iowa athletics in general, and we like to be able to give back to the community because we get so much support from everyone here. There's not much time for clubs and stuff, but
but that seems to keep you pretty busy and very much involved in the community, I think.
Yeah, but a few of my teammates created the Herkies Affinity Group for female athletes, so that has always been a nice kind of way to get to know other female athletes on campus and be able to empower each other and support them in their sports and kind of understand a bit more about what they do, because some things just you're not as aware of, especially when you're in season. So always nice to kind of catch up with people in that way.
Absolutely. Are you a part of that Herkies?
Yeah,
thing?
so I like to go when I can.
Yeah.
It's been, but it's so nice to just meet people, especially when women's wrestling got introduced.
Yeah, big time.
They found that as kind of their way to get to know everyone. So it was, I mean, I have so much respect for them. They're all athletes at this university are amazing, but like watching them come in and kind of be the pioneer for their sport is incredible. So getting to know them was definitely a highlight of that group.
That is really cool. But you also talk about helping with the Children's Hospital, helping with the humanitarian stuff around campus. Do you have any of your favorite stories, maybe working with the Children's Hospital or any of those other organizations on campus that have kind of stood out to you and kind of maybe a core memory for you that yes, I did that to help out the community?
I can just remember, I think it was a couple of years ago when we were out building a house on the peninsula, being kind of up there with people just kind of thinking, should I be wearing like a safety harness? And you're kind of like knocking in nails on the side of this house. Like, wow. I don't know what qualifications I have to be like building this house. And like Lisa's like stood outside like kind of like, what are they doing? Like,
why are they up on the roof? Why are my athletes up on the roof right now?
So that was definitely just like getting to be involved and doing it with teammates. It always helps to do things together. And I think it was amazing to kind of see our impact as we went back and then did some painting on that house, and then we got to see the finished house and meet the family. Wow. And it's just kind of like, yes, you only went for 4 hours that day, 4 hours another day, but the impact you have, you see that on the families' faces, and it's just amazing to be able to give back to them. How
did you guys get involved with helping create that house? What is the process you got to go through that? Was that all through field hockey, or was there somebody else that kind of got you into that? So I think originally the link did come through field hockey. So they did they do women's builds, and a lot of that is centered around Dr. Grant and her kind of contribution. So I think that became a very easy link for the field hockey team to that as a charity. So I think that
kind of became our link, and we're a group that likes to be outside and doing things, and kind of that just became a perfect kind of link. And a lot of us go and do things outside of like the team ones we organize, so I think it's just great to see that we really do want to make an impact. It's not just like, oh, this is kind of what we're expected to do. It's we actually enjoy doing these things and want to keep being involved with them.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a really cool thing. I don't know how many teams can say that they help build a house. That is really, do you know of any other teams that are doing that? Or?
I think volleyball and soccer definitely got involved with that.
That's
I think
awesome.
women's basketball, we all obviously different seasons,
Oh,
different
yeah, it's
go
all
at different
over the
times.
board. Yep.
But one really cool thing is they give you a Sharpie and you get to sign some of the kind of boards in there.
That's sweet.
Obviously they paint over it, but
Yeah.
you kind of, when we were walking around, you see kind of all of the teams who have contributed, and that was actually a really nice thing to see.
Wow.
The impact that we're having.
That is a really cool story. That is a really cool story. Well, you also talked about helping with the Children's Hospital. Obviously, the Wave is a huge thing here at Iowa. We have Dance Marathon, one of the biggest student organizations on campus. What do you guys do to work with the kiddos at the Children's Hospital, or how are you guys contributing to volunteering there?
So a lot of us do the kind of the story time. So a lot of that has been on Zoom, but I think now it's back in person, which is really nice. And then a couple of us, I think maybe last year, we kind of did a mini quiz with them and kind of like showed them a bit of like field hockey stuff, and like that was kind of broadcast to their rooms. So that was just like a really nice thing to kind of like show them a bit more like a day in the life of us, and like understanding what we do and like how much we want to support them.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm a part of Dance Marathon,
Oh,
so
okay.
that makes me feel, that warms my heart that you guys do that. So that's really awesome for you guys to do. But kind of shifting back to the field hockey sense of things, we've already talked about the NCAA tournament a little bit, but also at least Iowa City, I feel like field hockey has slowly been growing more and more. More people are learning about who you guys are, with personalities like yourself and Dion and Sophia Stribos, kind of promoting field hockey at the university and making it a little bit bigger sport. Have you seen the growth of field hockey in America a little bit more? Because you talk about how big it is in England and you guys being 15-time champs in a row. Have you seen it grow a little bit more in America since you've come here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always been a kind of East Coast sport.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is kind of the main area of it. But I think as we've had success, and as I think people have seen that a lot of our team are kind of really great student athletes, it's kind of been a way to link with the community a bit more, because I think it's just nice to be able to see people both inside the sport and outside the sport. And I think obviously through social media and stuff, that's definitely been one thing that's been a focus of athletics, is kind of showing both sides of us. And I think that's helped people understand a bit more like what it requires to be an athlete in any sport, but particularly in like field hockey. And we've definitely had a lot more people show up to our games, and a lot more people kind of educating themselves. Like I'll be walking around campus and someone will be like, oh, like you guys beat like #1 UNC when we beat them in September. And then it's kind of like people want to learn more, and especially when you're successful, that kind of helps a lot when Iowa loves successful sports. So it's been really nice to see the community, and we've had people who have supported like from my freshman year who are still coming to our games, even if people who they had connections with have graduated. So I think it's really nice to see it's not just based on the people, it's now based around the team. So I really hope that continues to grow, and I'm sure it will as success continues.
Yeah, that's awesome. It takes those student athletes coming back, continue to watch the games and grow the games is what's really going to grow the game. So it's been really fun to see you guys be able to grow it, especially here in Iowa City with how successful you guys have been. And beating #1 UNC was awesome. I know it was all the way at the beginning of the season, but what was kind of that like when you did take down the #1 team in the country, and now they are back as a #1 seed getting ready for NCAA? What was it like when you first beat them, though?
I think it's always the game we chase after, like especially them being at home and hosting that Big Ten ACC tournament. Like we really wanted to take it to them, and I think we went down, and then kind of the belief we had, even though our first quarter and first half performance wasn't really what we wanted it to be, the grit that we showed to be able to come back in that second half, score 2 goals and take that to overtime. I was so impressed with everyone on the team, but the freshmen showed so much heart in that, and I think it's difficult to show pride and passion before you've been on a team for long, but they really showed me that they already had that, which was really great. And then, I mean, Kessie's goal in overtime was just like
crazy.
She nearly took my head off with it, but I was like,
almost had another head injury.
But it was just so nice in that moment to get that and to have that confidence. Like, that's a huge resume builder for NCAAs. So to get that so early in the season was really nice, and to beat them at home is in front of packed stands. It's kind of can't really ask for better than that, to be honest.
Exactly. How was that environment? Because it's a little bit different maybe down there, North Carolina. They're more known for their field hockey. Iowa's starting to become more known for their field hockey, but definitely football and basketball and wrestling kind of are the driving forces where a lot of people come out for. What was that environment like down in North Carolina with packed stands?
Well, they have their field hockey band, so that was
really?
They were present. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, they had the band there. But I mean, it's just nice to have people there. I think it's like we had a lot of Iowa parents there because we have a lot of East Coast people, and a lot of the international parents came over for that game. So we had a lot of our own support, and I also think there are a lot of people there who were just there to watch good field hockey, which is really something our sport has been lacking, is general supporters rather than passionate about a team. So being able to see like young girls there and just be able to experience kind of that we don't necessarily haven't always had in Iowa was a really nice moment, and then kind of to quash their fans a bit at the end of the game. So yeah.
Sorry about it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's always a really great place to go to. UNC is a great school, and they have great fans and always get a great show out. So our fans only added to that.
Absolutely. And you talked about family coming over from overseas to watch that game. How is it balancing being able to talk to your parents and family overseas and them coming to watch you? I'm sure it's probably a pretty difficult thing to balance.
Yeah, so I think my parents' flight back to London actually is about to leave from Chicago. So
oh, really?
they've been here the last 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
That's been really nice to have them here, but COVID definitely made it difficult for them to come visit.
I can imagine, yeah.
So it was really nice to have both of them over for senior day and then come to the tournament and things. So I think most internationals' parents 1 or 2 times a year kind of come over. East Coast is obviously a lot easier to come to than coming to Iowa, but again, like the support we get from American parents, it's unbelievable. Like, I know that I would be able to ask any of them for help, and just the support they give the whole team, but specifically the internationals, has made it so much easier than it would have been otherwise. And I mean, they've been amazing, and I am so grateful for them.
That's a really big time thing for you guys. 'Cause
Yeah,
I can't imagine, because you say they only come over a couple times a year. What's it like when you got to go back? Like, do we have pretty long winter break? We have Thanksgiving break coming up here pretty soon. What's it like for that? Are you flying back to England every once in a while, or are you pretty busy here?
I normally go home twice a year, so winter break and then portion of the summer.
Yeah.
But not for Thanksgiving break, and I learnt my lesson pretty early with going home for spring break. Flights, not very easy.
No, I can't imagine.
There's a lot of delays.
Yeah.
So yeah, winter break and summer break, it's kind of the main times people will go home.
Yeah, that makes sense. But this is your last year with Iowa. I know it's tough to bring up. But what are your plans, obviously, because you're from England and things like that, but you're studying in America? What do you kind of see yourself doing? I know you don't want to think about it right now because you got games coming up, but have you thought about post-grad stuff like that?
So hopefully I won't graduate until May 2025.
Okay, well,
so
never mind.
I'm just kind of putting off any life decisions for a long time. I'm just doing most to do at this point. I think I'll wait and see what happens and see where life kind of takes you. Like, it's been kind of field hockey has very much been a lot of my life for 5 years, so I think I need to see what I want to do outside of field hockey once I'm done, and see where my passion and things take me next.
Gotcha. So would you see yourself maybe staying inside field hockey to coach, or are you definitely for sure going outside field hockey?
No, I don't think coaching is in my future. I think I'm gonna keep going down my public health route. I think that's but who knows where things will take you. But
life's crazy.
I think I have now kind of, it's really nice to go to class and kind of meet people and really enjoy it. And I think that has shown me that is where I want to go.
Yeah.
And so that's been actually really nice to have that feeling.
Yeah, and I was one of the top public health schools in America.
Yep.
How has it been being within that program and learning from some of the best in the country?
I mean, first of all, they've been super accommodating of me and field hockey. But I think they will be glad when field hockey is over and
so you
there's
can focus up a little bit.
no more scheduling issues or any of that. But I mean, it's been so fun, and again, it's a hugely international program with lots of professors who are international, guest speakers coming in.
Wow.
So still having kind of overseas links whilst having the quality of education that they provide it's been amazing. And not having to walk around in the winter, just being in one building has also been
that is
been
big,
a huge bonus.
That is big time. I wish I could say the same. Can't say it, but that is really awesome. But I mean, you talked about being public health and things like that, but being in public health, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you talked about the scheduling conflicts a little bit. How has it been handling those two workloads? Has it been pretty stressful, and how have you been able to handle that?
I think my undergrad prepared me pretty well.
That's good.
But I think it's kind of getting to the point of like, it's good that field hockey doesn't run past Thanksgiving, however well you do.
Yeah.
But I will miss it so much when I'm done, but it's come to a point where it's no longer compatible together. But as I said, the college has been super accommodating, but also our coaches, like other schools, it can be very restricting on the classes you take, the major you do, but our coaches, and Lisa specifically, has always said, I want you guys to graduate with the degree you want and be the best student you can. We are, of course, students before we are athletes, and that has always been the message from them. And I mean, the degrees and the GPAs that come out of the field hockey team, like engineers, people going to PA school, people going on to be doctors, like
wow.
It's amazing, and shows the level of support that we are provided by our coaches. And I don't know how they put our practice schedule together, but this year I think we only have like 2 people missing an hour each of practice.
Really?
So scheduling is always a big challenge for them, I'm sure.
That is really impressive that you guys are able to kind of work around that. That's really awesome. But Esme, I can't thank you enough for coming in today. This has been awesome. Your story is amazing. And I can't wait to see what you guys do in the NCAA tournament.
Thank you for having me. It's been really nice to chat about things.
Absolutely. This has been awesome. And of course, thank you for tuning in and watching this 3rd episode of Meet the Hawkeye. Be sure to check out the Daily Iowan website and YouTube page for more Meet the Hawkeye interviews. For Esme Gibson, I'm AJ Reisetter. Have a great rest of your day. Boom.